I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I rise to move the motion to lead the debate on the births, deaths, and etc. Compulsory Registration Act Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2025, SB 913. Mr. President, do I proceed to lead debate?
You may proceed.
Okay, thank you.
You may proceed. Proceed, please. You don't need a seconder in this kind of motion. Once you want the motion, then you proceed.
Just to, for courtesy.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Take your permission to go on. Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. It is my privilege to lead the debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to repeal the births, deaths, and so on and so forth, Compulsory Registration Act, Cap B9, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and to reenact the births, deaths, and so on and so forth, Compulsory Registration Bill 2025, to provide for an electronic civil registration and vital statistics system and or related matters. This bill was read for the first time on the floor of the Senate on Wednesday, 15th October 2025. Distinguished colleagues, the current law governing the registration of births and deaths in Nigeria, the Births, Deaths, and etc. Compulsory Registration Act, Cap B9, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, is a colonial era legislation that has become obsolete and grossly inadequate for our present realities. Despite being over 6 decades old in its core structure, the law still relies on manual record keeping and outdated administrative procedures. This has resulted in weak data capture, inefficiency, duplication of efforts, and lack of reliable national statistics on vital events such as births, deaths, marriages, and adoptions. In a digital age where data drives governance, planning, and service delivery, Nigeria cannot continue to rely on paper-based systems for vital registration. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Nigeria's civil registration system faces multiple challenges, including low registration coverage, less than 60% of births, and under 20% of deaths are officially registered. Manual record keeping that is prone to loss, forgery, and inaccuracies are part of the problem. Fragmented institutional responsibilities between local government registrars, hospitals, and the National Population Commission. Lack of integration with the National Identity Management System, NIMC, health records or census data, and limited accessibility of vital records to citizens, especially in rural areas. The result is that Nigeria lacks a reliable, up-to-date national database of vital statistics which affects policy planning in health, education, security, and social welfare. This bill seeks to modernize Nigeria's civil registration framework by introducing the Electronic Civil Registration and Vital Statistics, CRVS system. Specifically, the bill aims to, among other things, repeal the outdated births and deaths and etc. Compulsory Registration Act, establish a comprehensive real-time electronic platform for the registration of all vital events, births, deaths, marriages, divorces, adoptions, and stillbirths, integrate civil registration data with national identity and health information systems, enhance accessibility for citizens through digital and local government service centers, and strengthen the role of the National Population Commission as the central authority for civil registration and vital statistics. Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, the passage of this bill will bring numerous national benefits, including accurate demographic data for planning, health, education, and social welfare programs, improved identity management and linkage with the national identification number, enhanced security and migration control, as all citizens and residents will have verifiable records, support for maternal and childbirth policies through accurate birth and death monitoring, ease of doing business, as verifiable documents will be available online. Some of the key innovations introduced in this bill include establishment of an electronic civil registration and vital statistics system, ECRVS, provision for digital certification of births and deaths, mandatory registration of all vital events within stipulated time frames, and recognition of electronic records as legally valid documents. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, in a 21st century data-driven world, the ability of a nation to accurately account for every birth and death within its borders is a sign of effective governance. This bill, therefore, represents a bold and progressive step toward digital transformation in civil registration, ensuring that no Nigerian is left unrecorded or unaccounted for from birth to death. I therefore urge my distinguished colleagues to support the speedy passage of this bill, which was brought at the behest of the National Population Commission to use digital systems to carry out their functions, to enable Nigeria to establish a modern electronic and reliable civil registration and vital statistics system that will enhance national planning, security, and development. I thank you very much, and I urge my colleagues to support this bill to go for second reading. Thank you.
Senator Abdul Ningi, then Senator Dike Plan.
Senator Abdul Ningi, and I represent Bauchi Central of Bauchi State, northeastern Nigeria. Mr. President, and the immediate past chairman of the Population Committee, reading through this bill and listening the very warm, precise delivery by Senator Ume, it gives me an opportunity to say this is long overdue. It also makes me sad that this law is just coming to the floor of the parliament after a very long time. The civil registration, Mr. President, is a global thing. Every developed nation that you visited, at the touch of a button, will tell you the number of deaths recorded in a particular month, in a particular week, and in a particular day. Consequently, therefore, the registration from birth gives us an unfettered opportunity for those who claim citizenship. When you are born here, your parents were born here, it is clear that we are Nigerian. But today, we have found ourselves saddled in a very serious situation because of our size, because of our economic capacity. A lot of Africans come to Nigeria and within a very short time claim citizenship. And even though our foreign policy says Africa is a cornerpiece of Nigerian foreign policy, that does not give right to anybody to claim our citizenship without being vetted. So what addresses that problem, Mr. President, is making sure that people are registered at birth. Less than 20% of our general population now are registered at birth. And we're a population going up to 250 million. And yet we have found out this is not rightly done. And of course, if you look at all the developed countries, there is no way you develop without a data that gives you an idea how many people die in a year, how many people actually came into the world, into existence within a given time, how many old people, how many middle-aged people, how many young men, how many women, how many unmarried men, how many unmarried ladies. These are very essential for you to be able to develop a mechanism for development. And I think this bill becomes not only necessary, but imperative that this National Assembly must see it through. It is important when you go to countries, Mr. President, like Canada, as you are entering a city, there is a signboard that this city, these are the citizens, the number of citizens, the number of female, the number of male, the number of young men, the number of women, the number of young girls. This is clearly written in every Canadian city. Before we enter, you see it, because they have this data. So it is important for all of us to recognize the importance of this bill. It's better late than never, and I support this bill with all my heart, and I think our colleagues should support it. It's not about money. It's not something the population has no money, but it is important that we need to have a basis for putting money where it belongs. So I support this bill with all seriousness it deserves.
I'm Senator Dicket Blanc. I represent Plateau Central. Mr. President and my colleagues, I am here to support in its totality this bill moved by our elder and chairman of the Senate Committee on National Population and Civic Registration. Distinguished colleagues, I would like to stress on the importance of childbirth and death. Childbirth registration and death. Childbirth registration helps to give identity to a child. It helps to also allow a child to enjoy his privileges, such as age for voting, age whether to go for NYC or not, age for employment, adolescent age, a time you can be enrolled in school. So the importance of knowing a date of birth of a child cannot be overemphasized. If we don't do this, people at time T go for affidavit to suit whatever they are looking for. But if it is compulsory that at birth, every child must be registered, it helps to give a true identity for a child. And it helps the child to have privileges for all the advantages he may get as a result of his age. It helps government to plan for primary health care. It helps government to plan even for education. Sir, debt is also very important. It is when you have a registration of a debt of a person that you begin to work for